Welcome back to the channel. As the name suggests, today I'm going to be doing a review on the new scope that I've bought, which is the HIKMICRO ALPEX LRF 4K LITE. The LRF stands for laser rangefinder, which is built into the front of the scope here, and then inside the actual computer of the scope is a ballistics calculator. If you're new to shooting, a ballistic calculator will work out the travel of the projectile you're shooting. So in setting up this scope, part of the procedure is chronographing your particular rifle, or air rifle in my case, finding out the average FPS of the projectile you're shooting, and then typing it into the actual computer on the scope using the menu and the dial. If you can see here, you've got a menu on the right hand side, your photograph or videoing button, and then your laser rangefinder. So there's 3 buttons there. This is your zoom. When you're looking through the scope, you can zoom in and out, but it also acts as a way to negotiate through the menu of the scope. You've got a focus on the front of the scope here, which obviously when you zoom in, you'll be out of focus. You can zoom in, you can focus in and out, and then you can also adjust the focus to your particular eyesight. So it doesn't actually come with the IR torch or this clamp. Now the scope retails for £699 average. The torch itself is an IR torch, which enables you to shoot at night because this is a day and night scope. I think the torch itself was £80, and this really fancy clamp was £40, which might seem rather expensive, but it is bloody good. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put some targets out at various ranges and just quickly show you what the gun is capable of. I'll be shooting off these shooting sticks here. I'll just be sat down in the corner, so you're going to have to bear with me. It is a windy day. I'm just going to put some cans out. I'm not even going to measure the distance. Then I'm going to show you what we do throughout the scope and basically give you a good idea of why you should be buying one of these, because in my opinion this is the ultimate air rifle scope. Let's just get to it. So as you can see there, I put those cans out, but I've no idea how far they are. The first one can't be 5 yards, probably. I don't know. I'd say 5 yards. They're ranging at different distances, and I think that's going to give you a good representation of what the scope is going to do. Now bear with me, it is a windy day and I'll be shooting off the rests, so I'm not on some sort of gun clamp or not, but I will try and take for the wind and be as steady as I can. So we're going to go for the first target, and then we're going to work our way out. I think that's going to be the easiest way for me. It is raining quite significantly outside, so that is going to alter the travel of the pellet. But let's flip over now into the camera inside the scope, and it will give you a good look from what it looks like in here. Now, one thing I will say, when you're looking through optical glass in a scope, especially on some of the higher end, even Hawks, I've got a Hawk sidewinder on one of my rifles, it's a really good picture. Now you've got to think that you're actually looking through 2 screens here. There's like obviously the screen in here, and there must be a screen in the front and the computer in between, so you're never going to get that perfect clarity, but I think you would agree when you look through inside, it is spectacular. I think the first 2 targets, maybe the first 3, will shoot in this rain, and then hopefully it dies down a bit. And I don't know how that's affecting the audio, but I apologise in advance. So to turn the scope on, the button on the side there, just a long press, and now I'll take you inside the scope. 7 yards. Spit out on my calculation. But there we are. Just going to rangefinder on the next one. Again, I would like to zoom in about this. I normally shoot about 10. So was it 9.5? Just above 0 at 29 yards. I think that's because I'm shooting downhill a bit. I'll have to pick that one up. So this is the third shot. The laser rangefinder using the back button, closest one towards you. Send me 50 yards, and it doesn't look far off that, to be honest with you, so we'll chuck a pellet down where it's saying. Like I said, I'm on 9.5 zoom now, but one of the beautiful things of this scope is that it actually takes for your the position where the gun is angled. Okay, so even if we zoom in, you can see the reticle is altering where the point of aim is. So we'll come back to 9.5, which I was shooting. Quickly rangefinder it again. Now I'm hoping, see what's doing there? I think that might be to do with the ring. I'm about 48, 50 yards, alright? Just gently squeeze the trigger off. And that was with wind then. You can actually clearly see that the rain is blowing to the left hand side as well. So we're going to take for that as my stupidity. Here we are, and 50 yards, absolutely crushed it. Well, I think you'll agree those first 3 shots were pretty great. I mean, the scope did a brilliant job of working out where the pellet was going to land, and I squeezed the first shot off to the left hand side of that can at 50 yards. There was purely due to the wind. We're going to stretch out now to the 4th target, and I've laser rangefinder at 72 yards. Again, there is wind. It's quite harsh conditions today, but it should give a good idea what the scope can do holdover wise. So let's get to it and just see what happens really from here on out. I mean, we've got 2 targets after that, and the one looks far. I'm going to say it's over 100 yards, I'd say. And in this condition, I mean, if we can hit that at all, like it'd be a great achievement. So 72 yards. Double check that. 73 yards, 20 inches of drop. We got a good wind from the right to the left, but let's give it a mil dot. Oh, I mean, that's down to wind. Again, the holdover was absolutely smack on. This is variations in wind. You can see again that the pellet is dropping exactly where it thought it would be. And a smasher there. 73 yards. Yes, it took a couple of shots. I would not be trying to take that shot on a day like this, especially with a sub 12 pound air rifle. But if you had no wind, I think that would have been quite easy. Right, guys. Now that we've hit that 4th target, 72 yards, I think the next 2 targets are pretty much not out of range for the gun, but with these winds it's just going to be impossible to really put it down to the scope, and I'm obviously off these sticks, but we are going to have a go at them. I'm not sure how far they are, but I'd say the last one is over 100 yards. With these winds off this, we'll be lucky to hit that, but let's just have a go at it. We're not too bothered where these pellets are actually going to go, because if I was on a nice sunny still day off a good rest, But yeah, I think this could be easily done. Let's just have a go and see what happens. So we've got the two last targets here. This one and that one's actually got knocked over by the horses because they didn't think that it was enough of a challenge for me to hit it when it stood up like that. So this last but one on the rangefinder is 82 yards. Now, if you can see where it says 0-1, 0-1, that's actually the tilt of the gun. So it's giving you that. It's letting you know whether your gun's level or not. On the right hand side of the screen here as well, you can see the same, and that's up and down. Obviously, you can see, right? Now, if you can see the bottom level, that's where the green point of impact is. I'm going to zoom out a bit here to make it easier for me. Oh, that's in. I'm using the top wheel again. I think that'll be okay. You can hear the rain. It's hammering to the left hand side, as you can see. I'm going to go about here. Mill dot and a half. Woohoo! Now, even though it's giving you the point of impact, it's obviously not taken for the rain, and it must be dragging the pellet. So we're going to just give it a little bit more for the sake of the rain actually slowing the pellet down. And the wind changed there again. But what a great reading of distance. Right, we're just going to move on to the final target. The wind is doing all sorts of things, and it's almost impossible for me to read it. It's actually blowing rain into the shelter at the moment. So you know, it's not going to stop off then. We're going to zoom in just to get a reading on the last can, and it's saying 91, 114, 140. We're going to go for 114 because I'm aiming on the top of the can there, and we're getting 114 yards. I'm going to have to zoom out to even so you can see the reticle here is right down there. There's a point of impact, sorry. I'm going to go 114 yards, loads of wind, and I'm going to give it a bit more height just for the drag on the rain. Safety's on. Now it's off. Take a nice deep breath. Oh my god, like, it didn't actually drag it as much as I thought that time. I want to say it hit about there, didn't it? So woo! This is purely down to the wind now, but you saw that again. That was an amazing point of impact calculation by the scope. Woo! That was close. Right. I think I was actually a skimmer. And we're out of pellets. Right, well, as you could see, the conditions weren't really my friend then. But we're going to go and pick those cans up, and we'll have a little bit more of a talk about the features inside the scope itself, because it really is a masterpiece. One thing I'd like to say about it is that it's got just a standby button, so when you press it, it'll just go black inside, you know, when you look through the scope, and that will save power inside the scope. It runs off, it's got an internal battery, and then it's also got an 18650 HIKMICRO battery that goes in here as well. So it's got internal and external, and the battery life is about 8 hours, so they say. It hasn't, like I said, got a infrared torch built in, so you need an external IR torch. This one runs off the identical HIKMICRO battery. You get two when you buy the torch, and you get one with the scope. I'm not sure how long the IR torch lasts, but you've got a different range of how bright you want the IR. Now, if you're shooting with a sub 12, say you was going 45 yards max, it's going to be low, because even right at almost darkness, you can see through this. I shot a rabbit on my previous video when it was almost completely dark, and I didn't have the IR torch on because I didn't have it at the time with me, and I shot that rabbit clean in the head, and I want to say that was about 30 yards. So let's get inside the scope, and I'll give you a good idea of how to use it, hopefully. Right then, coming into the internals of the scope here, you'll notice that the reticle is on the screen, but when you first buy the scope itself, you won't actually have the reticle, so you actually need to go into the menu and choose which reticle you want. So if I quick press the menu button, long press over into the menu, here you've got your brightness, you can change that, and then you've got your contrast in picture and your day and night. So you can see the options here. I like to have mine on auto, which is obviously it's on now, but you've got a choice there. If we're going back into day and night, you've got a choice here between day, night, green, yellow, and I'll give you a quick example of what they look like now. Day is obviously the day, night is obviously jumping into infrared, and you've got the other options there. I just like to leave mine on auto. So basically auto decides whether the light conditions are right for it to be day or night, which I find is perfect. There's your albums where your pictures and videos will be stored, and your advanced settings, and this is where it gets rather intricate inside the scope. There's your network. If we go into there, this is how you connect to your phone. Turn your hotspot on. I like to leave it on close, which is off, just to save on battery. You've got your 0 in profiles, A down to E. This basically enables you to 0 different rifles, so when you can swap your scope over between rifles. So A could be what, like my air rifle is, and B could be a rimfire or whatever. So into 0 in now. You've got 1, 2, 3. These are to do with your reticle. I think they're into reticle position. I'm not too sure on that one, so somebody is going to have to answer that one for me. I like the reticle number 1 with the mil dot there. If we come in, obviously that's how you turn your reticle on and off as well. So when you first buy the scope, you won't actually have a reticle. So come onto your 0 in, go onto there and put your reticle on, switch what you want. The bullets, obviously, I think with different caliber bullet rifles, you can shoot different grains of bullets, and obviously different powers in the cartridge, so you can also type those in and swap between those, so the scope will actually remember it. And coming into the type now, this is your reticle type. So you can see here now that there's a difference in reticles. I like that last dot one as well, if you really want a good picture, if you was close-up squirrel hunting. But overall, because I shoot a reticle like this normally with mil dots on all my other scopes, it really gives a good representation of using another gun, so I like to keep it on this. And reticle colour, as it says on the tin, you get all different colour reticles. And then if we come out of there, we've got reticle center color, which can give you a different color dot in the middle. I like to have mine on green, as it gives a highly visible point of impact, a point of aim rather. You can adjust what you want there. Correction. Now, this is where you're going to start zeroing your gun, and you want to pay quite a lot of attention to this. Go back into that. Oh, I've come back out, but we'll go back into zero in. Go back down into correction. 30 yards the distance I've got my air rifles zeroed. Right now, actually, my gun was down on power, so you're going to have to forgive when I do shoot a pellet and it drops, just because I've been launching lead down the field and then my gun's down on power. But 30 yards, depending on what gun you've got and caliber, etc. It's up to you what you zero your particular gun at. Coming out of there is a zoom. Normally shoot in, I've got like 10. But these give you a different option of how at what zoom you want to zero at as well. I think it's it's easier to see at this. If you looked at the last one, which was like 3.5, wasn't it? It's quite far away, and you wouldn't really see your bullet land, especially if you had a rim fire or something, or a center fire. I wouldn't like to think how you'd be able to see. This next one is freeze frame. This is how you actually zero your gun, okay? So if you would aim on this rock, for instance, if you pick the point on the rock center and you see the pellet went down there somewhere, what we do then is we would put we go on to correction now, or just put your freeze frame on. You turn your freeze frame on, but only when the center of that reticle is on where you were aiming originally, and you would take a little quick press of the menu when that reticle is on the point that you were aiming at, and it'll take a freeze frame shot. You can do this over and over again, so you get perfectly on that spot, okay? So I'm just picking this little black spot, say, on this rock, and I'll quickly, it might not be too quick, but I'll press the freeze frame button. I'm actually narrating over the video here, if you can tell. So if I take the quick little press, and there's a freeze frame, okay? So once you've got that freeze frame, you're happy that the center of the reticle is on the original point of aim, and you can tell where the pellet actually landed. You go into correction, and this is obviously giving X, Y, up and down, and left and right. So what you do now in this freeze frame, you would adjust those until the center reticle is actually on where the pellet landed, and you can basically get a one-shot zero, which is perfect and a massive advantage over shooting on a traditional scope. Now, normally, once you long press menu to come out of that, it'll give you an option to set parameters, and you've got to press OK to select that you want to remember all your zero in. If you don't, it won't remember your zero and you'll have struggle. Now, for some reason, it didn't here, and I'm not sure why, but it's got to be something I've done. I've gone back into it now and just give one click up, one click down, one click back up, and long press out. But again, it hasn't given me that option to set parameters, and I don't know if it's because I've zeroed my gun already, but it will. It seems to happen every single time, but the time I'm trying to show you. But forgetting about that, we're going to come out of the correction and have a look now into the ballistics calculator, because this is really what the scope is about, isn't it? So if we go into ballistic calculation, obviously on, and if we're coming down, aim point style, go into aim point style, aim point color, and parameters. So let's go into parameters, drag model. I'm not too sure what this is. Somebody's going to have to explain what the drag model is, because I'm not too sure. But you can see then initial velocity is 570 feet per second. That is the average chronograph of my gun. That's how fast the pellet is moving, average over 10 shots. Altitude, I just put it 0 foot because I don't know how far above sea level I am. I didn't look up. Temperature was that of the day that I bought it. Ballistics coefficient. Have a look on your in particular ammunition. Google it and find out, and that'll give you the reading there, and you can type that into. And the sight height is 1.75 inches. I've measured that from the center of my bore, center of my barrel, to the center of the tube on my scope. So I would recommend that you do that as well. And type all this in to the ballistic calculation, the ballistic calculator on the scope, and again it should give you an option to save parameters. So if it does, press OK, and then it will be in there. So that's pretty much the advanced settings, the ballistic calculation, and the zeroing ready for you. So if you have bought a scope, you should be able to set up your rifle to your specifications. What I'm going to do now is quickly just put a little video up of what it looks like at night with the IR torch, and well, firstly without the IR torch, so that rabbit I shot the other day in almost complete blackness, and then looking at rabbits with the IR torch around 70 yards. Here we are, no IR torch. And this is what you could see with this scope in almost complete darkness, and I was managed to take a clean headshot at 34 yards. Moving on now, these next rabbits are about 70, and I hadn't even focused the scope into the zoom that I was shooting at. So you can expect an even clearer picture on this. I hope it gave you quite a good idea of the scope itself and its features. You could dive in even more, but unless you're actually going to buy the scope, there's not a lot of bother. That really does give a good picture of what the scope's capable of. And on a steady day, I mean even more, so much more in fact. If there was no wind and you had it on a dead steady rest, you could be going out city ranges, and that's with a sub 12. You know, BSA Scorpion T10. It's not the best gun in the world by far. A good gun though, a good accurate gun. But imagine what you could do with putting this on a Wolverine or even a BSA R10, HW100, something that was got a regulator built in. Imagine it on an FAC or a rimfire. When I was initially going to buy this particular scope, there was two options available to me, and that was this, the ALPEX 4K LRF LITE, and the Zulus version 2 LRF. Now if you take a look at that scope, it's an amazing scope. I'm not going to knock it in any way or form. It's a brilliant piece of kit, and it might be a go-to for you, so definitely check it out. The reason I bought this one in particular is because I really like the look of the traditional scope setup where the Zulus, I think it'd fit more on some of the new Brocock guns or an FX. I think maybe for ratting it would be better than this. For me, this was the choice. Again, I'm not going to slag that scope off at all because it's an absolutely brilliant piece of kit. But this is the one I went for, and this is the one I'm reviewing today. I wouldn't mind reviewing the other one if anyone out there has got one. Any of my friends have got one, I wouldn't mind reviewing that as well, because I'd love to have a go at it. I think what we're going to do now is go back home, fill the gun back up, because I was noticing then, after recording that last bit, that the gun's down in power, because I have thrown quite a lot of lead downrange. So I hope you enjoyed the video. How about a thumbs up? Like it, if you can, that'd be brilliant. But there it is. Any avid air gunners out there, in my opinion, this is the ultimate scope. I can't wait to keep shooting it, to be honest with you. I'm going to go out tonight, I think, on the bunnies, as it's going to be windy and I think there's going to be plenty of rabbits out. So again, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe to be brilliant. Stay tuned for some more air rifle shooting.